I am so weary, so very tired. I can't even say my name. I am so hungry,
from Malcolm Turnbull's office here to the main
so
rally,
sick and
which is at Park
frightened.
Central, carrying these portraits. And yeah, so we're going to remember some of their stories, and we'll stop along the way and we'll remember these men.
These photos that we can see today, unfortunately, the families of these people are awaiting. I know that half of them are either Iranian or from Kurdish background, and they are celebrating Nowruz, which is a New Year, Persian New Year calendar. But the family, they are not going to receive any call from their sons, from their brothers, or from their husbands. Unfortunately, these people died in our hands. These people, they escaped from their country to come for an open arm to protect them. And instead of protection, unfortunately, we left them in the detention and in our hand, and instead of we protect them, they've died in our hand. Their families are awaiting today to receive a call from them, but there is no call.
These faces are the faces of people who came to our country seeking our protection, but instead died in prison camps that were built by our government and are politically supported by our Prime Minister, who says he represents the people of Wentworth. He says he represents the people of Australia, but he doesn't. He represents brutality, he represents torture, and he represents a gross breach of our international obligations to people who come here for our protection. Our government jails refugees, brutalises refugees, imprisons refugees in privately run prison camps that need to shut.
Not some strange creature, I am human. And I have such dreams I could tell you about. I have such love I could tell you about. If you
Zabarati, 23 years old. Reza arrived in Australia on the 24th of July 2013. He was detained in Manus Island in August. A riot occurred in February of 2014. He suffered severe head injuries, which he would later die from. He was described as a gentle giant. He used to always pick up bugs and moths off the ground and put them back in the garden, worried that someone would step on them. He loved learning English and exercising at the gym. Ahmed Ali Abbas, 29 years old. Ahmed was provided refugee status without a protection visa. He lived in uncertainty. He had a history of mental illness, and when he learned that his mother passed, Ahmed took his own life. His name means hope, and in his final moments he felt he had none. Kadaya Amini, 30 years old. He was living in Australia on a bridging visa. He was contacted by Australian immigration staff, and in fear of returning to detention, he committed suicide on the 16th of November 2010. In a letter he wrote before he died, he said, "They sentenced me to death. My crime was that I was a refugee. They tortured me for 37 months. During all these times, they treated me in the most cruel and inhumane way. Humanity is not a slogan," he said. "Every human being has the right to live. Living shouldn't be a crime anymore." Let's just have a minute of silence for Reza Ahmed Kadaya. Just 1 minute of silence.
A nightmare. I'm not an animal, not some strange creature. I am human. And I have such dreams I could tell you about.
Ahmad Akabi was detained in Villawood Detention Center. He appealed for refugee status twice. Each time he was rejected. Ahmad committed suicide on 16 November 2010. He was a husband and father for 3 young girls. His family was attacked by religious military in Iraq. He wants them here. Joseph Raouli, the Fijian guy, Joseph was due to the deported. He was being detained in Villawood detention. He was found dead after he jumped from the roof. He committed suicide in September 2010. In faxes he sent to Department of Immigration, he said, if you want to send me to Fiji, then send me dead body. Medical assistance show on mental illness before he went. He was a husband and a father for 2 young sons. And again, I remember another Fijian guy in 2000 when I was in detention. He jumped and killed himself too. He was detained with me same time. I really know what is the military run by the Fiji, a lot of history of that. And the last one, imagine as a refugee advocate, some advocate calling me and call the parents, tell he's passed away. He's not alive in the hospital. Imagine I have to do this issue. And I have to talk to brother and mother I really cannot find a word tell how I was sad and sorrow about to hear this issue. But what we can see, Australian government didn't want to respond to the basic human right. Hamid was detained on Manus Island. He suffered foot injection and would later lead to the failure of the heart, and him began declared the brain dead. Hamid life support was switched off in September 2014, and I can never ever forget what the mom said to me. He said, please give any of his body to any Australian can survive by his part of his life. That was the organ. He said, please, but after we find that the whole body was poisoned, the Australian lying, none of his body was useful. None of his body was useful. A medical report leaked on the media revealed the Karzai evacuation from Manus was delayed by more than 24 hours. Apparently because of visa issues. His family seek justice for their son. Thank you again, and imagine, this is the new year for my country in Iran. And the people of the camp, this is a family, they are gathered. The pleasure day of the year we having. Doesn't matter which religion we are, doesn't matter which background we are. We are all same in the one day and love each other. And imagine their parents and family looking today to missing their child.
I have such love I could tell you if you would listen. So stop all fighting.
Has been diagnosed with severe depression, and doctors wanted him released. He was refused a protection visa. He died after heart failure in February 2012. Friends told that he was a gentleman. He was a good man, quiet, nice and polite. He said, I can't take it anymore. I'm going mad. I'm thinking about my wife, my children. They have no income anymore. رزن مبراتا انگل 30 years old. Rezene was living in the community. He received notice of failed asylum protection application and letter to attend a meeting with DIBP. He assumed he would be told of his pending deportation to Eritrea. Rezene drowned himself in the Marabrang River in Victoria. The International Red Cross has described Eritrea as one of the 5 most repressed countries, referring to as a giant prison. Fazl Chegani, in his 30s. Fazl was detained at Christmas Island Detention Center. He had a history of attempting suicide and mental health problems. He was found dead on the 8th of November 2015. His friends described him as a gentle soul, not traditionally religious, but a deeply spiritual man. They say he was generous, kind, and deeply humble man. Ahmed Ali Jafari, only 26 years old. He was grappling with depression, anxiety, and sleeplessness, for which he required daily medication. In the evening of the 20th of June 2013, he suffered a fatal heart attack. The ambulance arrived over an hour after Ahmed's first complaint. Ahmed was a kind person with a gentle manner. Ahmed wrote poetry. In Willowwood, he would be on hand to request our orders for water, tea, juice, or coffee. Let's remember them and have a minute of silence.
I am frightened. I am your sister. I am homeless. I am your brother. I am the future.